the Ring Fanatics Podcast, episode number 15. I am Nick, your host, and of course with me as always, my boy Joel. As always, go subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify, follow our socials, continue to support us. Today, as you can tell by the title, we have another guest, a returning guest, our first returning guest of the podcast. Remember him from the Hell in a Cell predictions episode. We loved him then, decided to bring him back. From the Titantron Podcast, please welcome Anthony Cerulli. How are you, man?
What's going on, guys? I'm doing great. There's a lot of snow outside. It's looking like Christmas, so I'm living. How you guys doing? I'm great. I'm doing great.
Thank you for asking. I'm doing great too. Thanks for asking, man. Glad to have you back on. Second time.
Glad to be back on.
You're a veteran.
I've been looking forward to be back in here.
You're a veteran on this podcast, man. Today we're doing another prediction episode of TLC that's happening this Sunday. Just like every other pay-per-view prediction episode, we're going to run down the card, give our thoughts, predictions of each match and what's going on. Seems like a pretty fair, decent pay-per-view. But from what we got so far with the matches, what are your thoughts on the general matches that are currently announced?
It's going to be a pay-per-view, man. It's going to be a pay-per-view. There's nothing that really, stands out and that makes you think that a big change is gonna happen, but it looks like it's gonna be a decent pay-per-view.
Yeah, I gotta say the same. It's I think it's interesting matchups, but I mean the results are pretty predictable for the most part.
Yeah,
I mean you have Fiend versus Randy, which is gonna be an interesting match, but then the other ones are just what's gonna happen. So yeah, like you said, it's just gonna be another pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that match, we were just talking about this before we started recording, Joel and I. The Fiend versus Randy Orton match is now going to be in a Firefly Inferno match, which is kind of interesting now that they put the Firefly word in front of it now. Don't know what that's going to entail, but what are you guys' thoughts on that match being changed up to an Inferno match?
I just looked at it on the Wikipedia now, and I was like, what is this? They're gonna do something.
It's gonna.
I mean, you look at it because it says Inferno, so you think Inferno, they're gonna have the fire around the ring, but then it says Firefly, and I'm like, they're probably gonna do something. So they've been doing cinematic stuff for a while now. It's probably gonna be something like that. They did something. They did whatever on Raw with the whole lighting the bin on fire, and then the Fiend came out. So that's probably gonna be something along the lines of that. I think it'll be pretty cool. I don't even have a prediction for this one. I think it's probably going to be the Fiend, just because I think Randy could take another loss. But then again, that's another loss for Randy. So that's something you have to think about. But I think the Fiend could use a win at this point. Just depends what they're doing with him for Mania. I think he could use that momentum. But at the end of the day, I think the Firefly Inferno match, I don't even know what to expect from it. It'll probably be something interesting. But that's one of the matches that I'm looking forward to seeing what they do for just in general with the result.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned before when I specified the word Firefly, because stuff like that could be it's not just a normal Inferno match, it's a Firefly. They specified the Firefly in it. So it might have to be a Bray Wyatt type themed match. It probably won't be in a ring. It's probably going to be the Wyatt compound at most, maybe a backstage thing where the winner or loser has to be set on fire, like what we've seen on Raw with Bray being put in that bin. So it's kind of interesting the fact that they put the word Firefly in it. What are your thoughts about this, Joel? Do you think it's interesting, creative, or some sort like that?
I like it. I can't wait to see what it is. I want to say it's going to be a cinematic match. I like how I feel like this is Bray's match now, right? The last Inferno match we had was Bray Wyatt also. Is that true?
Was that? I think so.
That was
SummerSlam with Kane.
Yes, right? Yeah. So that was
I think about that.
So not sure what to expect. I do think the Fiend needs this win. I think Randy can take another loss because it's Randy Orton. He was just champion. It's not going to affect him that much. Exactly. And also then with Royal Rumble coming up and everything that's going on, we could see a big Randy moment again. But I think Fiend needs this win at the moment. But I really can't wait to see this match and see what kind of creativity they bring to it, especially seeing what Bray Wyatt has done in the past.
I feel like I like the pairing between both Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. I feel like both of them work well together, especially what we've seen in the past, but back in 2017 and even now. It's creative. It's awesome. I love the way they work together. They're both creative minds. Like but what you guys said, like I feel like Bray should win this match because Randy doesn't need the momentum at the moment, even though he has had a great 2020 before the Drew McIntyre feud. I feel like even if he does get this loss, it won't affect him anyways. You know, like he like even like I say this to myself a lot when he lost the WWE Championship, that didn't affect him at all. Like I don't feel like that didn't affect him anyway. So same thing. Like it's the end of 2020, his last pay-per-view, the last pay-per-view of 2020. So I don't think if he loses this match, it won't affect him at all. Like Bray Wyatt, it'll probably make Bray Wyatt look even better since it's in the Firefly Inferno match. What are you guys' thoughts on? Do you think Alexa Bliss might be involved in some way in this match?
I mean, you got to think she'll probably be, something along the lines of that. I've been saying it since the start. This pairing with the two of them it's really, really good. You look at Alexa Bliss, and she was one of like the women in the WWE that have been critiqued just for like her in-ring work, and that she hadn't really done like a lot of stuff, because the majority of last year, you look at it and it was kind of just her doing like the Moment of Bliss talk show stuff.
Yeah.
Tag team with Nikki, and it was really nothing to compared to like what she has done both in NXT and more notably on like SmackDown, being the champion for a long time. And then you just compare that all to what she's doing now, and I think it's miles ahead, just because now she's starting to show that she's a little bit more better of an actress than we thought she would be.
Yeah.
It gives her more of a character in the ring, like how we see Bray now. It's not really, his matches are focused in on the in-ring work, but more so on the character stuff, which I think is really cool. Bringing a lot of more character into wrestling as it is I'm a big fan of that. So to see that stuff and, the whole spooky stuff with Alexa and Bray it's a big positive for me. So yeah, I think she'll definitely get involved this weekend. I don't know how. Like I said, there's a lot of creativity when it comes to Bray and Alexa and all of them. They could figure something out. But I think there'll be something with her, I feel like.
Yeah, because I was... Oh, you go ahead,
Joel. You go, man. You go.
Okay, fine. Yeah, thank you. I was thinking, like what you said, Anthony, it shows that Alexa Bliss can really do more than just be a heel and do her stuff in the ring, because ever since she made her main roster debut, it's been the same Alexa Bliss ever since.
Right.
Either she was a great heel or just a tag team person with Nikki Cross as a babyface. So this really brings out her different style of how she could portray a character. I'll be honest, I didn't expect this from her to be in the position with Bray Wyatt, but like I said, it's different for her, and I like it. It works. It works for her. It works for the character. It works for Bray. I do kind of see something happening. Like you said, Anthony, I don't know how, but I feel like she will get either cost Randy the loss, or like I said, cost him the loss, or maybe do something how she did with Braun Strowman at I think it was Extreme Rules, where she popped up out of nowhere as Sister Abigail, then got distracted and gave him the loss. But depends on how it is too. Maybe it will be in the ring. Maybe it'll be a in-ring type of thing. So maybe it won't be a sort of cinematic way, but I feel like she will just randomly pop into the ring. Because I feel like now, since it's been in the Thunderdome, they have full control of, they probably already taped the whole pay-per-view already. We don't know. But they could have taped and done some editing where she just randomly pops into the ring or something to cost a loss.
Because I was thinking about how, like, if Alexa's had any history with Randy in the past, because, that's always factoring into, like, all the Fiend stories is, like, he's had history with all of them.
He never forgets.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I was thinking if, like, he had anything with Alexa, and I can't, not off the top of my head that I can think of anything. So, I mean, I guess it's just Alexa isn't really, I guess, in that regard, isn't for the whole history thing. I think that's more of the Fiend, but having Alexa adds another layer to that, which I really like, because, there's only so far you could go with, like, the Fiend never forgets, the Fiend's going to change you and stuff like that. I feel like you need a little bit more of a character diverting from that. And I think Alexa's perfect for that, which actually brings up a question of like, there's a like talk of the Fiend being like a face at this point. Do you think he's a face? Because I don't see that at all. I think you can't have the Fiend as a face. Like, you could cheer for him. That's an instance of like, being a cool heel, but like, he's not going to be presented as a face. I don't know. That's especially now that he's going up against Orton. I feel like that's something to talk about. I don't know.
I think Alexa's helping that part of him trying to be a heel, because I think I would say Alexa is a heel kind of, and I feel like as with her pairing with Bray, I feel like that's trying to help Bray become more of a heel. If you love Bray but hate Alexa, at some point you're gonna hate Bray because of Alexa at some point. So I feel like that's what they're trying to do with Alexa, is to try to make Bray more of a heel. But I understand how like people would cheer for him now. I get that that might be considered a babyface, but I would say Alexa Bliss is at the point where her character is trying to make him more of a heel.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. How do you guys feel about the Fiend having a soft spot for Alexa Bliss?
I feel like that's awesome. I like it because it brings a different side of Bray, even the Fiend. Like we always seen him as
more
like
character at the end of the day. Yeah. Because like I said, there's only so far that you could go with like big spooky Bray Wyatt. There's always a soft spot for every character. There's always that one weakness in all like the great villains that you ever see. So this is just another example of that.
Yeah, you had Kane back in I think 2012, 2013 with AJ Lee and all that storyline, and then you had Big Show do some stuff. I think if I can recall like that. So you may think they're like a big scary person, but they have a soft side.
Yeah, it's always the monster having that one woman that brings that out of them, as we've seen throughout the years in the past.
Yeah, it's the fact that they're. At first, it was kind of like that, like
yeah, like when I first saw it, I was like,
it's gonna be like a love story kind of thing.
Yeah, like I would love for him to have a soft spot for her, but like also just not care at the same time, like hit her with Sister Abigail and then help her to the back, like pick her up and be like, I care for you, but I'm not gonna always, you know what I mean? Like I'm not always gonna stop to protect you. Like I hated when they did that scene that was like, Randy picked her up and was like, he just froze.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I would love for something to show like that, like him just like hit her with Sister Abigail, but also show he cares for her.
I feel like that scene with like Randy holding her would have been a lot more impactful if they built up more of a relationship with Alexa and Bray, because it's like, Bray all of a sudden just like cares about Alexa. Like,
if they would have did it this week, they're going home, and then they built up throughout the weeks, and then had it happen, I think it would have felt more like, now this is like. Or
even if it was Funhouse Bray, like I would have seen Funhouse Bray being more like, sentimental about that. But the Fiend, it was like a cool thing to see, because now that he has a weakness. But I feel like you could have built up a little bit more on that one.
Yeah, and like you could have done with Bray, like like you're in the Thunderdome, you can just do camera tricks, you know what I mean, and be able to have Bray care and the Fiend not care at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like as we like we think it was the first match they had like 2 weeks ago with Randy and Bray, how randomly it went from Firefly Funhouse to 1 second to another, lights went off, back on, it was the Fiend. So it's kind of like, okay, that works. That can happen. They could do something like that with Alexa, like have like pop into the ring randomly at all times and have them together. It would go from like a even though Alexa Bliss now has technically one side to her as of Bray Wyatt. Well, she does have a Firefly character too, but it's pretty much the same as either when she's not Firefly Funhouse. Kind of like Bray has two sides, she still has one, which is a Firefly Funhouse gimmick.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, do you eventually have her get a mask or do something scarier than what she looks like?
You have to give her another side to her.
Yeah.
You have to give her a fire. Like you have to get like something to match up with the Fiend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We've already seen like she has like the eyes whenever
with the contacts and stuff.
Yeah.
No,
like,
you need to do
like
something.
A small detail. Like you need something.
Even like Like, do something with the face, like, you know, like, I mean, like, makeup, or like, just do something that's
Face paint or something.
different, that we know exactly, that we know, okay, this isn't Alexa Bliss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we've seen her as Sister Abigail. It was Alexa Bliss, but it was the Sister Abigail gimmick thing. I would probably confuse people if they portrayed her as Sister Abigail, then give her a different personality. I'm guessing they're still trying to go for the Sister Abigail thing. Maybe not. I don't know.
You could do Sister Abigail and just do it subtly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Honestly,
like,
at this
you don't
point,
have to call her Sister Abigail. You could call her like Abby or something, like just something that's not so just
Abby
out there. It's like, oh, okay, now we know where it comes from. We finally know who this is, even though it's just Abby, or, you know what I mean, Abigail, whatever.
I feel like at this point, like, I don't know, I might feel different about this, but like, I'm so over the whole like Sister Abigail thing, because we've heard so many like conspiracy theories about who Sister Abigail is.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you're not going to make it anyone, just drop the whole thing. And they keep like hinting at it a little bit. And I'm you know, we're past, like, in theory, in character, that should be past Bray already, because now he's moved on to, like, you know, you saw it on the first Firefly Funhouse when he cuts the old Bray Wyatt with the chainsaw and stuff. Like, I feel like we've moved past, you know, the whole Sister Abigail thing already as a person. But, you know, I like the little hints about it, but like, to have someone as Sister Abigail, I feel like it's just like overplayed at this point.
I feel they should just go with the Firefly Funhouse characters, like make someone Abby the Witch, make someone Huskus the pig, something like that. I don't know, like make someone each, and then have like they can also get two sides to them. Like, oh, someone gets the Firefly Funhouse gimmick, then a scarier gimmick like Bray and the Fiend does. So like a way everyone has everyone doesn't just stick to one, and I feel like that would be much better than just leaving just one, because it'd be confusing.
Yeah.
I guess we can head on to the next match that I see in the card. The Raw Tag Team Championship match. New Day versus the Hurt Business, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Who do you got winning that match, and why? Do you want to go first with that?
I got Hurt Business.
Same here.
Hurt Business taking the belts, taking the straps away from the New Day. I think New Day's New Day. Like, everybody's gonna love them whether they have the belts or not. But I think this is time to build up the Hurt Business. I love Shelton and Cedric together. I think they're a good tag team. I think they're great individually as well. But I think the Hurt Business is going to take the straps off the New Day.
It's been long overdue, like you said. Like, they've already had 2 title shots already, and they lost both of them. And now this is the third time to get it. And it's like, okay, did they win it this time, or did they lose it?
I think it's been time for them to get the belts. I've been telling you this, that the Hurt Business needs to just take over and try and get all the straps if they can. Because to build up, there's difference between having a faction and an actual, like, faction that is threatening. Like, the Hurt Business, they're threatening in their own way, like, oh, they'll beat you up, but they don't really have anything to show for it. They need to put some belts on them.
Yeah, you mentioned in the past that, like, maybe Bobby Lashley should give up his United States Championship maybe to, like, the MVP, then have like him go for the WWE Championship. Therefore, they can have everything all in one group.
Or slowly add someone in. Like, if MVP just wants to stay a manager, you add someone in.
Yeah.
Like, they've been kind of, I feel like, slowly hinting at. But and then you either lose the belt, and then that next person challenges for the U.S. belt, and Bobby works his way to the World Championship, because Bobby needs the belt, man. Especially since he's the powerhouse in the Hurt Business.
Exactly.
You gotta give him the top belt, or at least go for it. Be in that story.
Exactly. I mean, he's been to that point where it's like, just give him a chance, like, put him in the main event picture, have him win the Rumble or something. It probably won't happen, but like, we'd get to see him in like a big match and just going up against like I mean, no offense to Riddle, but like, I feel like he would have had a more worthy opponent for TLC. More worthy opponents, like Keith Lee would have been a better opponent for him.
Yeah.
For TLC,
definitely.
I feel like that would have been the better route, because he's still fresh and new to the scene. It's like, before you even get to that, like what are your thoughts on on Keith Lee getting sent down back to the Performance Center. What are you guys' thoughts on that? I feel like I had to bring that up.
I have been very vocal about this, and honestly, probably for another reason than other people think, because people immediately hear, oh, they send someone back to the Performance Center, and they immediately think he's getting buried.
Yeah.
They have been doing this kind of stuff for longer than social media has been around. They did it with Big Show. They did it with Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Vince has an idea of what, a big man should look like. And it sucks because, we know what his vision is.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's a bad wrestler, that he's getting sent down to the Performance Center. There's a certain way that a WWE wrestler, superstar wrestles compared to how a New Japan or All Elite Wrestling wrestler wrestles. That was a tongue twister.
Yeah.
There's a difference, and he sent down people like Mace. He sent down AJ's bodyguard, that guy, Otis. Yeah. So there's different guys that he sent down. And that's because I guess at this stage, Vince doesn't see them wrestling in the certain style that he envisions that they should be wrestling in. I think the two trainers that are working with them are like Adam Pearce and Drew Gulak, who are two really good wrestlers. And they can definitely see the strengths and weaknesses of all the guys and really tap into those because they know how the WWE process works. And even from me just seeing Keith Lee, there's definitely a difference from what we've seen, a wrestler similar to him in the WWE wrestle compared to how Keith wrestles himself. And, we can't sit up here and say, Keith Lee's perfect. He doesn't need to go back for training. It's not even like he's getting taken off TV or anything. He's still on TV. It's just that he's going for those extra days of practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think he'll be fine. People are saying that he's buried. That is completely false. We've seen it already in the network special that they did on him, that Vince has, he sees something in him. Like he says, you have to make me believe. And, obviously he's making him believe a little bit. So I think it's still way too early to say anything about Keith Lee getting buried. Yeah. He beat Randy Orton on his first match, second match, clean Randy Orton, got the final fall on Survivor Series. There's definitely some ups and there's a little bit of downs, but I think as time progresses, it'll show that Keith Lee there's a plan for him, but it just needs to be, brought out a little bit more.
Yeah, people automatically love to bury people, say that the people are buried as soon as things start. Like, he hasn't even been in the main roster, like, for a few months, not even half a year yet. And people are saying that he's buried.
Because people are saying that he's buried because they don't know the full story yet. Maybe there's like a certain reason why he's going down to the Performance Center, and we just don't know about it yet. I'm sure that they do this stuff to all wrestlers all the time. It's just that this time Dave Meltzer got a hold of the story. And now people are, going crazy about it. I feel like they do this stuff all the time.
Can I be straight up? I'm super nervous about this. I'm like, Keith Lee is a great talent. He's a great talent. He's unique. What I don't want to see is him become another big guy. I don't want him to move as a WWE big guy. I like the way he is. Of course, everyone needs to keep working on their craft. That's with anything. You're always learning. You're never going to be finished like, okay, I'm done learning. I'm where I'm supposed to be. You're going to learn, even if you're a lawyer, anything, you're going to learn every day. You're going to learn something new every day. So I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is the way they're trying to maybe show him how to be a big man, how to be a Braun Strowman. You know what I mean? Like, how to be a Big Show. I like that he has all these moves that he does that are so unique and so unique for a big man in wrestling. And I just don't want them to change him too much. I see where he needs to improve. Everybody needs to improve. But that's what worries me. Nothing about him going down. I'm not worried about any of that. I'm worried about them changing his style, especially since Vince has that outlook. Big guys are supposed to do this and they're supposed to move like this. And that's where it worries me.
That is true. I mean, like, that is a common theme. I think every big man has been kind of like, oh, they have the same style that Vince wants to portray. for a big man.
Yeah.
And I get that. I feel like because we've seen in the past, obviously, even with last year's Survivor Series when he was on NXT, still we've seen all the high flying stuff he's done, and I think he's done some few high flying, or because people like to compare him to like a big man who moves like a cruiserweight. That's how the perfect example to portray him as. So I feel like typical Vince probably took offense to that. It's like, oh, we don't want to be a big man who could move like that. So I can see why you are nervous about that. I'd probably be the same way. But like I said, like I'm not too worried. As long as he's still doing big things and like going places, then I'm fine. I feel like I'm fine with that.
If he ever hits a big boot, I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to go crazy.
A big boot, a power slam,
oh my god! Also, while we're sending people down, where's Nia Jax at, people?
Exactly. Thank you.
Why is she just roaming backstage?
But
Send her
thing,
back
though.
to the performance center too.
That's the thing I'm saying though, is that she knows how to wrestle like a WWE superstar. I guess there's some guys that he's like, oh, you're not a superstar yet. So I feel like that's a little bit of what he's going more for. But if I was in charge of that, you send down Nia Jax, you send down Lana, you send down just all of Retribution just to get them off TV.
Man.
There are so many people. Man.
Basically, Vince looked at Nia Jax and looked at Keith.
You're doing a great
job. He said, Keith, you're being too safe. We gotta send you back down and show you how a big man moves and how a big man
fights. Like Nia Jax, you're injured. I think he praises
Keith, let
Nia
me show you this video of Nia Jax hitting Becky Lynch in the face. That's what you should be doing.
Have you seen this video? Do exactly that next time.
When I saw that, I was like, of all people, there's so many people on the roster you could send down and get improved.
Yeah.
No offense that, like I said, everybody has to keep learning and keep working on their craft. But wow, some people need to do it more than others, and Nia Jax may be on the top of that list.
I think he like highly praises Nia for doing that stuff.
Is it because she's like down the line, like kind of related?
Yeah,
to
I think
The Rock.
That's exactly what it is.
That exactly.
Like, don't beat around the bush.
If you're in the family, you're getting a push.
That's what it is.
If you're in the family, you're getting a push. That's it. You got to be related to The Rock. That's all you got to do.
I'm surprised she hasn't been in the storyline with the Usos or Roman yet.
Yeah, I know. Tamina hasn't.
Down the line, it will happen.
Yeah, Tamina probably will. Like we mentioned once before. I think it was the last time you were on, Anthony, where we mentioned how Simone should get involved and like how like they should do the whole
storyline. Sure. I'm still on that. I mean, I don't know if you do it now because now they're saying they don't want to do Roman and Rock for this WrestleMania because they don't know if there's going to be fans yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still got to do that story. There's so much you can do with that.
I say, who cares if fans are there?
This is the only time you could really do it because
perfect time.
You're in an environment where Roman is still a heel. Once fans come back, fans are going to love Roman Reigns, and they're going to be cheering him all the time.
Exactly.
So that kind of means that Rock's going to turn into that. He's not going to be a heel in the storyline, obviously, but fans are going to react more positively for Roman, I feel, than they will for The Rock, just because of how well Roman is being received right now. It's like this head of the table stuff that he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they want to wait for fans. Like, I get it. Oh, people are going to pay to see this. But guess what? Your ratings aren't number one. And this is the perfect time, story-wise, company-wise. It just makes sense. Like, why wait? And even if you do have WrestleMania with fans, if you have it in Tampa again, Tampa doesn't really fill up the arena. They do a certain amount of people. I think 30%, 35%, something like that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be sold out. You're not going to have an event like that.
For
maybe for 2 years. Yeah. Where it's at full capacity. WrestleMania 40 might be the first one that's like everybody, like, we are going to pack this place out that everybody can actually sit together and be together. Until then, who cares if there's two people? Who cares if there's people virtually there? You need to have this match. Like Anthony said, it makes sense. When people come back, they're going to cheer for Roman. And that, because Roman is doing such a good job at the heel, with the heel work, that everybody loves him. Everybody loves him now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna work in 2 years next year. It's not gonna work by the summer. I'll tell you that straight up. By the summer, it's gonna be 100% cheers.
Doing this any other time than WrestleMania coming up is going to just defeat the purpose. Like, of course, you still do it, but the whole purpose is to get, you know,
a WrestleMania-worthy match.
Yeah, a WrestleMania-worthy match.
Exactly.
In terms of Roman being the top heel right now, going against one of the top baby faces of all time. So, you know, the writing's right there. Yeah. You know, like you said, if there's two people, if there's virtual fans, if they put their little plants like they were in the in the performance center, I don't care. My God. You need to do this match. Yeah. Like, it worked for, you know, putting people in the audience. It worked for Randy Orton and Edge. You didn't wait to do that. The greatest match of all time. Like, do it. Like, who cares?
I mean, especially now since they're in the Tampa, I think it's called the Orange, whatever the name of this stadium is now. They still, I feel they still have, it's a baseball stadium, so it's a big stadium. Especially, I don't know if you saw the setup before they debuted last Friday. They still have a lot of room so they could fit enough people in that arena.
They basically made their own arena in the field, which is very
weird. And they still have the rest of the field and the rest of the stands. So put people, they still do socially distance people. So like a 35% capacity or something like that. They have the amount of space, but they can still do it. Maybe they're going to wait a little bit longer to do that. Maybe that's their plan. But I feel like, especially with football season almost ending, it ends before March and on April. So whatever football season's done, they can use that stadium that the Buccaneers play in. So they can go back to there and do some type of WrestleMania there. It'll still work out.
They just need to do this match this year.
We'll get into more Roman Reigns later when we get to that match, but the next match of the card, kind of iffy about. Not really hyped up.
Oh wait,
about.
I didn't give my prediction for the tag team match.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, what's your prediction?
I want to say I'll do it quick so we can get on to this next match. But I want to say Hurt Business because in story, you know, you lose 2 matches, you win the next one. I want to say Hurt Business, but now they're introducing a story where it's. I don't want to speak it into existence, but it looks like there's tension within the Hurt Business already, which I think is BS. You know, you see Cedric over celebrating, running to the back, and MVP and Shelton are like, "What's this guy doing?" So I feel like there's a story in that, which makes me want to think that maybe they're not going to give the titles to them just yet. But then again, like we've been saying, they need to win these titles because they're the best. I would go as far as to say the best team in the company right now. At least the most well-booked, throughout the year. So I'm going to go with Hurt Business just because I want to see it happen. But as long as we don't get a story of the Hurt Business breaking already, then who knows? Yeah. But I'm going to go with Hurt Business.
So we all got Hurt Business again, 3 for 3. I would agree with that. Hopefully they don't break up soon. I just get this titles on them already, give them the reign, give them the dominant reign, and then we'll be fine. I think that'd be perfect for this storyline. The next match is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Not Bayley, sorry. Sasha Banks versus Carmella. Who do you got winning that match? Who wants to go first?
You ready for this?
Are you ready? I don't know if I'm ready for this match. I don't know.
Carmella.
I don't even know who I got.
I got Mella winning.
Mella, okay.
Which is weird to say because, well, first of all, I'm actually very much looking forward to this match. And that is something I did not think I was ever going to say for a Carmella match once they brought her back with this new gimmick. Because whenever they bring back, a gimmick like this, I'm always like, okay, Emelina, like, here we go again. Yeah. So, but then they did the match last Friday, which was interesting enough to get me invested in this next coming match because it shows that there's more of a character to Carmella than just, like the glitz and glam diva that we've seen already. I think Carmella has a look that they will want as champion. And I feel like they wouldn't bring her back in this role immediately if there wasn't already a plan for her to be champion. Because like you think about it, and then what's going to happen if Sasha beats her? She's just going to be another mid-carder. That's not what they need right now.
Yeah.
They definitely need to stack up the women's division as much as they can. So I think in the situation it is right now, I feel like Carmella comes up with the win, which sucks because we went through this whole thing with Bayley just to have, Carmella beat her. But there's other outside, influences that I'm feeling might have an effect on this. And I think you know what I'm talking about. someone showing up on AEW in a few days to do some commentary rubbed WWE the wrong way.
Yeah.
And he just so happens to be doing Sasha Banks's theme song. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I doubt that'll happen.
No.
But WWE's petty enough to do that type of shit. So I'm gonna
true.
go with Mella. I think I'm invested in her character enough to see her win the title. I do want to see Sasha get the title back, of course. But I don't know. I feel like they're going with Carmella on this one.
Yeah, I could agree with that one. Like I would not want to, because usually when they introduce a new gimmick or character, they usually tend to not give them a championship spot right away. I feel like they're the type of people who are just like, okay, here's a new character and gimmick. Here's a title shot, so people think that, okay, they're serious, they're a main eventer. But then all of a sudden they lose it and say, okay, now what? And then I think this is just a way for people to think, okay, she's up there now. She's still a main event person. She's still a championship contender. She may not win it right now, but she'll still go for it, and she'll still have that boost like she was the last time she was champion when she won the Money in the Bank, the first one. So I feel like this is just an introduction to the new gimmick, saying that this is a serious thing. Now, have Sasha beat her, but she'll eventually be back and win it eventually. So I'm going to have to say Sasha for this one. I mean, I'm thinking Sasha's going to beat her, and it'll make Sasha look better. It may be a bigger effect towards Carmella since she just returned and have a different persona, different gimmick. But I feel like this is the way of like, okay, Carmella's back, different person, different gimmick. Sasha beat her. That makes Sasha look better. I could agree with you with the pettiness with AEW and Snoop Dogg, but I don't think that's going to happen. They may change. I think what they would do with that is change her music at, that's probably the only thing they would do with her. I don't think they're going to give her up her title because of her cousin being in AEW. So if anything, I think she's going to make her look better as a champion. And eventually, maybe early 2021, they'll give the belt to Carmella eventually. But I'm still feel like, because I would rather have Bianca Belair beat her for a championship than Carmella. So I feel like it's like I said, the type of thing where it's like, okay, new gimmick, lose to the bigger person here. Eventually, you get your shot. That's what I think is going to happen.
Before I give my prediction, I have a question. Did they take down the Undertaker and Snoop Dogg collab?
I think
they
so.
did.
They did.
Makes sense. Okay, so I have a big prediction right here. Carmella will be going into WrestleMania as champion, but it won't be happening this pay-per-view. I think Sasha's going to win. I think she'll win controversial. I think it'll be a roll-up or maybe like one of those. They have to make it that. Yeah, they have to make it that. It's a questionable win. Yeah, it's a questionable win. Maybe like Carmella's arm is off the mat, something like that. Her arm is under the rope. Something that's controversial that we get the rematch at Mania, where I'm at Rumble, where Carmella takes the belt off of Sasha, kicking off the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I don't think it will happen this pay-per-view. I got Sasha's pay-per-view, but I think it will happen.
That's what I'm thinking. I was thinking the same exact thing. Like, it may not happen now, but it will happen eventually.
Yeah, that's very true. Because you also got to think, like, Sasha's still, one of the only, I don't know if you would call her a draw, but, like, she's doing a lot of stuff with, like, The Mandalorian. She's one of the top people that are bringing in some ratings at this point. So there's definitely reason for Sasha to win, but I don't know. I'm going to go with Carmella on this one. I feel like, I agree more with Joel's prediction in that Carmella will be going into Mania as champion, because as much as I want to see Sasha versus Bianca, I feel like it won't do anyone. It'll harm more than it'll help for either, because yes, we'll get a good match, but at the end of the day, I feel like they're building up too much to Bianca for her to beat Sasha, who is, easily the top woman of this year. And then that'll just hurt Sasha even more. And I feel like that's not a good look for anyone involved. So I think Bianca versus Carmella is it's an interesting story enough that if you go into Mania with that, I would want to see that, as long as they build it up enough.
I think it'll be a good match between them two. And also I think it's a good idea to have Bianca beat a big heel. Have her have that big moment. I think the way they're building up Carmella, I think on the way to WrestleMania, it'll get even better.
Yeah,
And I think it will be one of those matches that you want to see Carmella lose.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They're gonna make you hate her.
Exactly.
Like the same time that they made you hate her when she was with Ellsworth. You just hated her because of the
Ellsworth,
character, and then Ellsworth just always running in, and it made her character better. I think they'll do the same thing, building her up as you going to hate her bragging about her having the title, and then finally when you get Bianca versus Carmella at Mania, you have Bianca have that big moment, but you also have Carmella. It's not really lost for Carmella because you'll build her up so good that it'll be one of those moments for Bianca that, wow, this is what makes the moment. You beat Carmella.
Yeah. Like I actually wouldn't mind that match between Carmella and Bianca because the two personalities that they both bring, like you said, with Carmella bragging about her championship or like bragging about herself in general, with Bianca Belair being confident, saying she's the best EST of the company. So with those two characters and gimmicks, that I would rather see that than Sasha. In my opinion.
I feel like Carmella is very underrated in the ring. Like we saw it on
definitely
SmackDown. Even now, it's like she brought in a lot of different moves that I didn't even see when she was doing stuff with like Ellsworth. Honestly, she's really good in the ring, and I feel like this character is only going to add to that and really make her a star if they go about building right. That's why I would have hoped that they brought her back a little sooner, so that if we're going into Mania as Carmella as champion, then we have a little bit more time to build to it. But I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like this is, more than enough time to build up Carmella to that eventual title reign. That's why I see TLC being where she wins the title, just so we have an ample amount of time to get there. But honestly, I could see it either happening at TLC or the Rumble.
Yeah. Either one.
It'll definitely happen though soon.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll definitely happen.
So next match on the card. So Carmella for you, Anthony, and then Joanna, I got Sasha. This next match, the women's tag team championships, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Asuka and a mystery partner now because Lana got hurt.
Can I just ask you all something?
Sure. Go ahead.
We have spent months building up Lana to be the underdog. She was the sole survivor at Survivor Series. She just beat Nia Jax. And now you want to go with an injury angle to just take her off the card completely?
I feel like she might have to do something with this. Maybe I was gonna say that maybe she comes out and interferes. Maybe
that's what I'm thinking.
She does something.
Get involved somehow.
She may get angry, get involved with because I was thinking this. Because I there could be a lot of people who can be this mystery tag team partner. I've heard tons of names already, and I could agree with all of them, so I wouldn't know who it is yet. But I still feel like the result may be somewhat the same, no matter who it is. I was thinking maybe you have a distraction from somebody, then maybe you have Asuka and her partner do a tag team double team move to one of them, and then maybe cause them to win before the other one gets a save or something like that. So it's okay, maybe that can work. Maybe Lana could be the distraction, causing Nia Jax, and then maybe that sets up for a Nia versus Lana match and a singles run for a pay-per-view, maybe at Rumble. Maybe that puts her in the title picture. Because I was thinking maybe once Baszler and Jax lose the titles, maybe they're going straight for the Raw Women's Championship, and so will Lana. So the next title defense will be a fatal four-way kind of thing.
You ready for a very, very bold prediction that I don't want to see it happen, but at this point it might? They might give Lana the Rumble, and I'll tell you how. They're thinking of doing, I was reading something, that they want to do a different type of finish to the Rumble that they haven't done before. And I guess they feel that now with the Thunderdome, this is the perfect time to do it. So I don't know what it is. No one really knows. But my prediction is that if they're going to let Lana win this Rumble, what they'll do is they'll have two women in the ring. Let's say Charlotte and somebody else. I don't care. They're fighting. What they do is they throw each other over the top rope together. They go out together. And the ring is empty. There's no one in the ring. But there's still one more entrant who still has to get in the ring. And it's number 30. And who comes out after a month away from injury but Lana? And the same thing happens at Survivor Series happens here, that she just walks into the ring and she wins the Rumble. I don't want that to happen, but part of me feels like they're gonna
Makes
post
sense.
yes and just do it just to be like Lana's who we're going with.
I would love for that to happen.
I would
Because, like,
I would be. It's at that point. It's just like
yeah.
we could do whatever we want, and you're just gonna keep watching, and that's exactly what they would do. That for that exact reason.
Yep.
That would be a creative way to have a Rumble win. That's creative, but I'm kind of iffy if they do it with Lana.
Yeah.
It's like.
I mean, if you think about it, who else are they really going to do it?
That's a
I mean,
good way
Charlotte.
to. That's a good way to do it with a heel. That's a good way to do it with a heel.
Mm-hmm. That's
and just
very
have
true.
them come out and just, I won.
Exactly, I won. I won. I didn't even think of that way to win a match. I never thought about that.
Could you imagine if they did that in 2015 with Roman being number 30 and they just did that shit? Could you?
Everyone would boo him like crazy.
Oh my god!
A riot would have broke out.
That would have been so
crazy.
You could bring out The Rock. You could bring out Stone Cold. It wouldn't matter at that point.
Oh my god, that was so. Let's talk about that real quick because I hated that moment when they brought out The Rock to make you cheer for him.
Exactly.
Roman.
Like, come on,
they
man.
made you be like, you're really you're cheering for the.
Yeah, the face that he made. He raised up his hand and he's like, okay.
Okay, yeah, thank you for coming out, man. Appreciate it.
Like, oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
What a moment that was.
Yeah, I didn't want to get into the Rumble prediction because I'm sure you're going to do another video on that. That's my doomsday prediction for the Rumble. Plus Goldberg winning, but that's another story for another time.
Yeah.
We'll get into that for the if we have time for the Universal title.
Yeah. So who speaking of that match, who would you say is the perfect fit for Asuka's tag team partner? Who would you think it is? Like the first person that comes to mind that you would probably want perfectly.
I don't even know who that person would be. I couldn't even tell you. My guess is that it's gonna be Lana. I think Lana's coming back and helping her out, and they're gonna win the tag belts. That's my prediction. I got Lana coming back and helping Asuka win the belts back. I think Lana will pin too. She'll get the win. Yeah. But these tag titles, wow, I'm so tired of them.
Yeah.
I am so tired of them. Not only because of Nia Jax. Let's not talk about that.
Oh yeah, I don't want to.
But Shayna. Why is it Shayna in the world title picture? Why isn't she the world champion?
The reason why I was thinking of that too, like I think this is a way for them to put her in the title picture and have her win it. Like if they lose the titles, then they go for the women's championship next, maybe.
Listen, I'm gonna be straight up. Shayna should have been champion. Mm-hmm. She should be. She should have won it.
Yeah.
Clean. She should have put. She should have made her tap.
She should have won.
That should have been Becky's out. That should have been it. That stupid roll up. I don't know what it is with Becky and her fucking roll ups at WrestleMania. But I'm fucking tired of it. I'm tired of it. And if she comes back and does another roll up, I'm done with her. Shayna should have been champion. She should be going on months being champion right now. She should be going into Mania champion and being champion for the year.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. She should, man.
This year she should win the title at Mania.
Yeah. She should. Yeah.
She should have her moment. Everybody talks about everybody having their moment at Mania. Shayna should have had it already, and I think she deserves it this year.
Yeah.
Putting up with this fucking bullshit they have her in. Because, wow. How are you just talking about people being misused or not used at all? Cool, she's being used, but used in the most stupid-ass storyline you can have. And it's not even for the world title. Like, at least if the world title was like, it was all four of them going for the world title and this storyline was happening, I'll be like, you know what? Okay, she's in the story picture. She's in the story for the title. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Wow. Having her with the tag belt and with Nia
Jax. Really, out of all people.
Oh my goodness. I can't tell you. Like, I feel like every time somebody gets called up from NXT, nothing goes right for them.
That's
we've seen that every fucking time.
That's why I feel like where they went wrong, and I don't personally blame the company. I think it's more of the fans what they think, because I think I might have mentioned this once before in a past episode, or it may have been with the ringside. I think what they're doing with NXT is fine, and the way they're calling them up is fine. It's the fact that people automatically assume, even with the Keith Lee story, as we mentioned before, as soon as something goes wrong, people automatically lose faith in somebody. And it's like, they just got here. Why are you so like down on people? And the thing is, I think the reason why for that is because everyone has high expectations for them when they get called up. And that's why I feel like NXT should not be the developmental system. They should have a new developmental system, more like Evolve. They have the rights to Evolve. Use that shit as a developmental, where it's not broadcasted, it's not aired on TV, not on the network. Where it's like, okay, where like, because back then when it was just FCW, when someone got sent to Raw, SmackDown, ECW, you didn't know anything about them. You didn't even know their fucking name.
Yeah.
Like when Sheamus got called up, did you know it beforehand? No. Only people in Florida did.
We never did.
Exactly. The only people who knew them were the people who were in Florida that attended the events.
And I miss that. I was thinking about this, that literally every new character that comes in, it's always someone from NXT. I miss the days where we could just, see like a vignette of like this new name that like we've never seen before. And it's like, obviously it's a wrestler from another company, but like, I remember being little and seeing like Karma for the first time with like the doll heads. And I was like, this is crazy. I've never seen this shit before.
It's not Awesome Kong, it's Karma. What is that?
Heavy machinery. And I'm just like, that's not going to go anywhere. Like,
I want to go back to a point that Nick brought up, because I'm one of those fans that get their expectations high. Why do I get my expectations high? Because you decide to put them in big moments.
That's true.
You decide to bring up Shayna and give her a world title fight at Mania. You have her go into Elimination Chamber, where she cleaned house and then got rolled up at WrestleMania. So it's like, it's not like, okay, she lost and she's still in the title picture. It was like, she lost and here's the tag title. Like, that's like Stone Cold losing to The Rock at WrestleMania, and then it's like, here's the tag belts with the Big Show. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? And like the same thing with Keith Lee. You bring him up, you put him against Randy, and then next thing we know, we hear that you want to change the way he's moving and stuff. It's happened a lot with it. The NXT guys, I think it's because they bring them up in a big moment.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Owens, where you bring him up,
John Cena,
have him attack John Cena,
and
beat him as the NXT champion, and then nothing really happens for a while. When he comes up, then he wins the US belt. He works his way up. At the beginning, there's nothing really happening, and then it's not I can see where it is our fault. At the same time, like we see it and we're like, oh, now let's wait to see what happens. Like, you haven't beat John Cena, and then the next thing he should do after he wins the NXT belt is be in that picture as a top guy in WWE, right?
Yeah, because it's
I think that's where they go wrong all the time. Is that they always bring it's one thing to be the top person in NXT. It's another thing to be the top person in the WWE. Yeah. And there's levels to that. What they always do is that they take someone like Keith Lee or Asuka or whoever, and they take them at the top of the company and they throw them into the WWE. And so we as fans have the expectation that, you hype them up with the vignettes and you put them, like you said, in this big moment. And then it's like, okay, so they're immediately in the main event scene. And then they lose. And now all of a sudden they're in the lower mid card. And we're like, what the fuck happened? What they should be doing is, if you want to build someone up organically, you shouldn't be bringing them in. You shouldn't be bringing in Johnny Gargano into the main roster after WrestleMania and putting him up against Drew McIntyre if he's still champion.
Yeah.
You should be doing is making a surprise appearance against a mid-carder so that you could start off right in the middle. You put him in the mid-card, maybe let him win the mid-card title. And from there, now you have a balance that, if things are working out, we could shoot him up to the main event. If things aren't working out, he's going to be a jobber and he's going to be in the 24/7 title. You can't shoot someone up right there to the main event. it just doesn't work because it's always going to fall flat on its face. And we've seen it 20 times with 20 different call-ups. They did it with the Ascension. They did it with Kevin Owens. They did it with literally any name.
Yes,
I had to bring in the Ascension because
I know that was my.
To be honest, I love them as a
I
tag
love them.
team.
They were
They just said, you know, it'd be dope if we just painted your face and made you look like like the Road Warriors.
Road Warriors, and we're gonna have JBL on commentary, just bashing.
That's
all they did with them.
Yeah.
I was watching the takeover when they lost the titles to the Lucha Dragons. First of all, great match, and also you just listen to the crowd reaction where they had that chant at one point. They were like and it was like they were over, and then you bring them here, and it's just like
nothing worked out.
It was so bad when they brought them up. It was like, I don't know what the idea was.
I had no idea.
There's so many people from NXT that I'm like, they should have been a world champion. Not right away, but they should have at least been in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Big one that I've always been behind since day one. Tyler Breeze. You brought him in. Oh my goodness!
And Bo Dallas.
Bo Dallas.
Apollo Crews should have been a main eventer. Like, come on! Like,
Biggie too, but not like what Biggie did with New Day. But like, you know, he should have won the WWE Championship already too. I feel like he should have won something.
It was just
for Big E. I gotta say though, because we did see him in a singles role, I would not want to see him as champion, as like a world champion with the character that he had. I feel like now that he's with the New Day a little bit and he's bringing back a little bit of it, there's an even mix. I feel like Big E, when he was Intercontinental Champion, just had no character.
Exactly. I thought
it's different. It's the same thing, but it's different now.
Yeah, they definitely did.
I thought they brought him in too quick. There's a lot of guys that they bring in quickly that's like, all right, relax. Like I actually like that some NXT guys don't want to come up. They're like,
I want to stay here.
Leave me here. I'm good. Like that should tell you something.
But you know, that's also a lose-lose if you think about it, because before Gargano started doing like the way thing with this new group, I was honestly about to say if he didn't at least win a world title at the stage that he was at now, he would literally be doing nothing. Him and Candice would have been just rotting in NXT. So, you know, unless they're doing stuff with them, it's kind of a lose-lose. And I feel like Gargano, Ciampa, Cole, they're talented enough that they can have, you know, some cool booking. But, like, there's eventually going to be a point where you're going to have to be called up to the main roster. And I feel like like I said, if they want to use them properly in some capacity, got to put them in the mid-card. You can't immediately shoot the Undisputed Era up to the main event scene because you're going to get some dream matches with the Undisputed Era, go against, like, the New Day or whatever, and then it's going to be done. And then you're going to see Kyle O'Reilly in the 24/7 title picture. Like that's bound to happen. So I feel like, there are people that want to stay down there, but there needs to be a balance. You need to know how to call them up.
I think there's certain, like, I'll go back to the Kevin Owens when he debuted against John Cena. I think it was the right time, but the wrong person. It was the U.S. belt. It made sense.
Right.
But having him go and
beat up John Cena, defeat John Cena clean, it was like, whoa. And got those expectations like, okay, like, this is it.
Right.
He's coming up now, and he's going to be a top guy.
Then he went for the U.S. Championship. And then it's
like, if he would have came up and did an open challenge against a Cesaro as the U.S. champion, or somebody that was in the mid-card, you know what I mean? A Ziggler, somebody like that, beat them clean. It's like, okay, all right, he's going to get called up, and now he's gonna slowly work his way up. That makes sense, doing stuff like that. But I think it had the right idea to it, the right intentions to be
just didn't capitalize after that. There's never a long-term plan with them.
And it was just tough. That was John Cena. Your first match, you're coming in, you beat John Cena clean.
Yeah. At that time, he wasn't really the top. I mean, he was a big name, obviously, but like he wasn't in the WWE Championship then. He was the United States champion, so they weren't really doing big things.
But
it's
still John
Cena though.
Cena. That's like, he's just that star. Another one from, I know we're getting off topic, but another one from
we gotta
NXT.
have a long episode.
Yeah, it's gonna be like an hour and a half.
Another one from NXT that always pissed me off was Asuka. Asuka with an undefeated
oh my God.
streak. How do you
I could do a
have
whole
her
episode on that.
tap?
I could do a whole episode on
How
that.
you have her tap to
Clean.
the figure 8, figure 4, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, I get it. You love Charlotte. But guess what? Sometimes big talent needs to help talent get over. And that would have put Asuka
and
everywhere.
And even
you don't want her to be bigger than Charlotte. You don't have to, but that would have helped to elevate to at least close to Charlotte's status.
And even in this year's WrestleMania, when Charlotte beat Rhea Ripley, like that's a whole different. Even though she's not called up, that didn't even ruin her. She's still in NXT.
Why would you waste the NXT champion and decide we have this? We've talked about the talent. We talked about War Games that the 4-on-4 women's, you can call up 3 or 4 of them and still have a good women's roster. Why weren't any of them going in for the NXT title? Why did you have a main roster person who won the Rumble?
To play devil's advocate a little bit, I feel like they had the intention that there were going to be fans, and maybe they would have let Rhea win if there were fans to have a big moment for her. Because around that time, they were very high on her. Yeah. That was around the Survivor Series when they were definitely very supportive of her.
I thought Rhea was going to win. I was like, this is just going to help her. This is going to help elevate her. And then it was like a punch in the gut. It was like, yo.
So once there were no fans, I feel like they were like, all right, so we'll hold off on Rhea. We'll hold off on her getting that big win later down the line if fans come back. And then time just went on. And then,
I never understand them with the fan thing. Like, it's cool for video and picture. You act like no one's watching at home. Like, it's still going to be a big moment. When Drew won the belt, it was still a big moment. It's not going to take away because, it was an empty arena. Yeah, he might feel that way. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we feel bad that he didn't get to have that moment. But as fans, we still love that moment of him winning the belt and finally getting it. So, I don't know. I hate that excuse that they use that, there weren't fans.
I feel like
so we decided
they should be focusing in on getting those fans watching on TV, because if you look at those Raw numbers, they're the lowest of all time. That's a consistent thing that we're saying now. They should be getting those TV numbers. They're going to, and of course you get the news reports. They're doing something that's going to try to bring up the ratings. Unless you go completely mainstream and you find a way that you could get into a big top story or something to get fans, casual fans watching, there will never be another, interest anywhere close to Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression, Golden Era. It will never happen again. And that's, you could go for as great of a wrestling content that you want. They by far have the greatest in-ring talents ever.
Yes. I was just about to say that. They have such a deep roster that you shouldn't be given the numbers you are.
But here's the thing. Why do I care if there's nothing as a casual viewer that I should be interested in? If, they have potential to go, Roman Reigns, Sasha, they could do something, but they're not legitimate draws. You look at like Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, you look at kind of like Cena. Those were people who casual fans knew and they were interested. They were the mainstream that they were like, what's this? The WWF's pairing up with MTV. I got to see this. What's this? The Attitude Era is doing some crazy shit again. I got to see this. There's nothing that's happening that is like, let me watch this. And you get like a little bit every now and then, like the Thunderdome, the first night got a pretty good rating. When they went to Fox, that got a pretty good rating. But now the ratings are just tanking. And until you find something, you're never going to get there again. And there's no point in even trying, especially with social media and the streaming and all that. It's never going to happen.
Right now in wrestling, like I love wrestling. That I've been a diehard fan. Yeah. I will say right now, there's not a star. There's not.
Because I was gonna bring up a point. Like I think someone tweeted this like a while back. How like people, every time like a legend comes back, like Stone Cold, whoever, they get a bigger reaction than any of the current stars right now. Mm-hmm. When they come outside.
I'll tell you straight up. I only bought a ticket to the last Raw that I went to because Stone Cold was going to be there.
Exactly.
That's the only reason. I could care less about what was happening on the card. Stone Cold was going to be there. I was there. You crazy? Yeah. Like, it's just one of those things.
When you really look at the roster right now, the only legitimate draws that there are, and I talked about this on my last episode, that the only draws that you have right now are The Rock, Brock Lesnar, and maybe Goldberg. Those are literally the only three, and Cena, but those are literally the only three people that if you put them on a Monday Night Raw and you at least announce it, you'll get a good rating. There is no one on the current main roster that you could be like, oh, Drew McIntyre is going to be on Raw this week, or oh, Roman Reigns is going to be on SmackDown talking about this week.
Yeah.
Why? Who is Roman Reigns? Who is Drew McIntyre? I think of it from a casual fan. I would know who The Rock is. That's Dwayne Johnson. I know who someone like Brock Lesnar is. He did UFC. I know John Cena. He's doing movies, and I'm interested in that, so I'll watch that.
Yeah.
There's nothing that, there's just nothing going on right now. And you could make the argument for Sasha and Roman, but because, Sasha's on The Mandalorian and whatever, but that doesn't really,
That's not the same level as
The
Rock.
Bigger name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You could say Snoop Dogg's cousin, but Snoop Dogg's in AEW now, so I don't know what's
and
drawing attention to them now. So you go there.
Yeah. What I hate though is when people say, I want to say it was Jim Cornette that said there will never be a wrestling superstar. That's wild to say because we can't see ahead. After Hogan, people must have thought there will never be a star like Hulk Hogan. And then guess what? Stone Cold and The Rock happened. And then after The Rock left and Stone Cold stopped fighting, there'll never be another star like them that took over the company. And then Cena happened. You know what I mean? We can't say there will never be another one. But at the moment, there's nobody that is the star. It might be somebody on the roster right now that in a couple of years, they'll be that face of the company that even if you ask somebody that doesn't watch wrestling, they'll know who he or she is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think going back to like how you said, you can't really market anybody and be like they're gonna be on Raw this week. I think that's where people kind of look at AEW and be like, oh, they're just leaning on the old superstars in WWE, like how they're doing Sting. When they first started, they gave Jericho the belt, but then it's like they're a new company. They have a whole bunch of young guys. That
was the smartest thing they could have done.
Exactly. Of course, it would have been awesome to see Adam Page as the first champion. But what does that bring to the view, to the channel? If you say Jericho's our champion, he's going to be on the first episode of Dynamite, people are going to tune in. Not because, oh, this is a new company, let me check it out. Jericho's the champion. Wow, I really got to check this out. Oh, Sting is on wrestling again? I got to go check that out. So they're using it now. They're only a year in. People like to trash that, but I think they're using it to their advantage so that they try and hold you to keep watching and care about their superstars, and then they'll get a star of their own. You know what I mean? There's a star in AEW to the fans. You know what I mean? People will say the MJFs. People will say, you know what I mean? We look at them as stars, but there's not that star. Like we said in WWE, there's no star. There's no Rock, Hogan. There's no guy like that.
Like I said, there's stars and then there's draws. Your stars are going to be if you want to talk about AEW, your MJFs, your
Moxley's, Omegas.
Yeah, sure. Guys like that. But then you have your draws where if you want to talk about AEW, Sting, maybe Jericho.
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal, I don't know, people who are going to draw the interest in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, anyways, my prediction for
I was just about to say, let's get back to the predictions.
I forgot what match you were on.
The
tag team.
The
women's tag team. Can I ask you a question before we continue with the women's SmackDown tag team? They're on the pre-show.
I don't know.
Are they on the main
card?
card?
I didn't even know they had a match.
Isn't it Rude and Ziggler?
I don't think they confirmed it yet.
Yeah, I know they confirmed
They'll
it.
probably be on the pre-show.
Yeah, they'll probably be on the pre-show.
Now I gotta look this
up. Because they haven't even announced the IC title yet or the United States Championship. So I'm assuming one of those three are going to be the kickoff show.
Because I thought they had announced their Profits and Ziggler. I gotta check this out though.
They might have. They might have, but I probably didn't. I didn't see it on the card yet, so I didn't say it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll let you know.
Yeah, as you look that up, if we're talking about who I think is going to be the mystery opponent, mystery tag team partner rather, I think it's going to be Charlotte.
Probably the most favorite one.
There's a lot of ways that you could go about doing that. If you want to put the titles on them so that you could go about just breaking up Nia and Shayna already, I would most definitely be happy with that. But then, I mean, it's Charlotte Flair. Like, she has history with Asuka. She should maybe she can turn on her, and maybe they want to go the direction of putting the title again on Charlotte. That could be something. So I feel like there's a lot of different things that they could do if she was the partner. A lot of people have been saying Kairi Sane, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's out. I think she's done with WWE.
I would feel
like maybe like 2-3 years from now, if she wants to come back and do a little run, maybe, but like it's too soon. I think I'm gonna go with Charlotte for the mystery opponent partner.
Definitely, she's definitely she's definitely like the high percentage of someone returning and being a partner.
Yeah.
I heard people saying Io Shirai. Maybe Io Shirai may come up for like not still be honest, obviously still NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah,
she could be there, bring the tag team titles. Her and Asuka be Women's Champion and tag team. That's
actually a good idea. Because we've already seen those tag titles on NXT already. It makes sense just to put them on an NXT
Superstars
tag team, so that you could actually build up some teams down there. Exactly. So I mean, honestly, that's not even a bad idea. Anyone from NXT, Rhea Ripley, I feel like that actually makes more sense than Io because she doesn't have a title right now, and she just lost. Didn't she lose to Toni Storm yesterday, or did she win? I didn't.
Yeah, she lost that one. Yeah,
there you go.
Probably because I was thinking like maybe either WWE might pull a move where it's like, okay, they might bring back Lana even though she was out.
Yeah,
they might. Pull
That's what I went with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I would agree with that part. Like they might just be, oh, it's gonna be someone else, but it's really Lana this whole time. Right. I was thinking maybe Naomi because she's also on Raw and she's been out for a while. So I think like it's gonna be her coming back and like being okay. Maybe they'll win it. Maybe they'll be the ones to take it off because I don't want to see like if it was Charlotte, it's probably gonna be this like the same thing with Nia and Shayna, two people not getting along, and then eventually it's doing the same thing over again with two different people. So it's like it wouldn't make sense to do with her. It's probably gonna be someone who's gonna be like a baby face to get along with Asuka to go have him hold it for a while, maybe lose it to somebody, and then maybe brush it off or something like that. So I'm
a real tag team.
Yeah. So I feel
real
like
tag teams. What are you talking about, Joel?
There's no real tag teams. Yeah, we don't do nothing.
There's no tag teams here. We get Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans.
Yeah, Lacey Evans. They're real. Yeah, there's real tag.
Natalia and Billie Kay. There's another one. There's your tag teams. Go play.
Yeah, go play. But like, I feel like they should have. Like, I probably would say at most probably would be Io Shirai. I hope it is because, like I said, it give them time to go to NXT. It'll give them the opportunity to go to NXT. Go up against like a Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, maybe like Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, and then or maybe what are the names? Their tag team, Casey Catanzaro and her partner,
and Caden Carter.
Yeah, them too, because they're tag team, they're legit. I like them. They're probably gonna go that direction. Probably they're gonna end up losing it to an NXT tag team to use the titles there and build up more.
They should move the women's tag team belts to NXT.
Yeah,
they're the ones who actually can use it.
Yeah. Until they build up more on the main roster, because they do have the Riot Squad and Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, but it's like them two need more time to build up more.
Well, that's how you help NXT become a brand. You have one of their tag teams win it, and they go defend it on all shows.
True. That is true.
That's very true.
Yeah. So I guess we can move to the next match, WWE Championship. In the TLC match, Drew McIntyre defended against AJ Styles with Omos. Do you guys feel like one of them will win, walk out as champion? Do you think the Miz will cash in or Sheamus will get involved in some sort? What do you guys think about that match?
Drew's winning. We talked about this already, that it's, Drew is their guy. And I feel like, as good as AJ Styles is, they're at the spot right now where it's like, Drew needs to be going into Mania as champion. And, we get the rumors that it's going to be Drew, Keith Lee, and Brock Lesnar at Mania. Yeah. And I feel like that's a match that they really want to do if it's being planned and if Brock agrees to do it. So to mess that up, I would just keep the belt on Drew. I think AJ can afford a loss because now he has this big guy with him. I mean, I would much rather see Drew McIntyre going into WrestleMania as champion.
Yeah.
Because we've already seen, AJ Styles as the champion. Sure, we have a little bit of a edge now with Omos, but I would rather, there's more potential for Drew to be champion walking into Mania than there is Styles.
That's true. I'm just like I'm always scared of like having the Miz cash in because I know it's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah.
I'm just scared when it's gonna happen. I just don't want it to happen anytime soon. It could be Sunday. It could be the night after on Raw. Could be at the Rumble. We don't know.
I think he's gonna hold off. I think
He's
Miz
gonna
is gonna hold off
I think so, yeah.
because the year ends in what, June? Right?
Yeah, I think May because it happened in May this year.
Oh wait, yeah. How does that work? So is it like
I was thinking
is it a
like,
year in Otis time?
Yeah,
or
I
is
think
it
it's just a year
like,
since
Okay.
Money in the Bank.
Yeah, it happened in May. I think it happened in May, so it might happen end in May.
So my prediction for this match is McIntyre. I think love AJ. AJ is my favorite wrestler at the moment, but Drew, like Anthony said, is their guy. They're gonna build him. They've already built him to be unstoppable. He lost that one title match to Orton, got the belt back.
Yeah.
And I think he'll hold on to it till Mania. I think at Mania he'll defend it. I think he'll win the Mania match. And I think the shocking moment on the Monday after Raw will be the cash-in. And it'll begin the Miz era, and his first opponent will be McIntyre. And I think that'll go on. That'll be the storyline for the whole summer.
Okay.
Or at least
can
until
see that.
like July. I think they're gonna hold off of that and have McIntyre do his thing for the next couple of months. Of course, you're gonna get the tease of the Miz.
Every so often.
In.
Yeah.
I would love, of course, the way they're with the rumors and the way they're planning the Mania match. I would love for the Miz to win the Royal Rumble, and just lose, right? Lose the Mania match,
and then cash in. Yeah,
like it would just be so something we've never seen before.
Like lose a match and hey, I got a contract, I got to catch it in.
Yeah. And it's like this, and makes you hate him.
Exactly, I was gonna say the heel move
because it was like you got your title shot and you lost, but they're gonna have to make you forget. If I was a writer, this is what I would do. I would have the Miz win the Rumble, have you forget he even has the Money in the Bank. Make you forget all about it. Have him and McIntyre build up the match. You even forget that he's Money in the Bank. Of course, we're not gonna forget. But they want you to forget, so that when the match happens at Mania, let's say he loses, Morrison just makes a run, and he starts attacking McIntyre. They get into a little scuffle, and then Miz just goes under the ring, grabs the briefcase, and just knocks McIntyre over the head. Hits the, I always forget his name.
Skull crushing finale.
There we go.
There you go.
Every time I think of it, I think of Jeff Jarrett. But yeah, he'll hit that on the briefcase, cash in, hit it again. 1, 2, 3. We got a new champion to end Mania. Even though he lost the main event,
he won the title.
He has the title, awesome. And it just makes you be like, oh, I hate the Miz. You know what I mean? Like, and it would just. I would just love that to happen, especially with that character. That's a great thing to do with that character, to just make you just, that would bring his heel momentum just up. Like, like his top heel moments were like, I want to say like, what year was that when he actually cashed in? Was that
10 years ago? 10 years ago.
2010 and there was that little girl in the crowd and she was just making that face.
They could do like a virtual one. That we could be.
And then he kind of got to his peak heel again when he was doing the movie actor thing, and he was going against John Cena and stuff. But people were cheering for him at that moment. We need a heel Miz that we don't like. Not a Miz heel that we think is funny and we like, and we're like, he's going against Cena. We need a heel Miz that we are going to be like, we don't like this guy. Like, why is he even champion? Why was this allowed to happen? You know what I mean? And then it just, I think that would be dope. But the way they're building it out, it doesn't look that way. But I think it's him the night after Mania. I don't think he'll do it before then, especially if they're planning on the big man main event. I don't see where the Miz fits in there. You know what I mean?
If they happen to do that after that match, because that's going to be like a rough match for McIntyre.
Which would be wow.
Yeah, that would be like.
But then it's like
not like a
kind-
Seth Rollins when it's during the match. Like wait till after to be like,
Yeah.
oh, it's not happening now. It's gonna.
But I just feel like I don't know. I feel like you did one cash in at Mania, and that's it for a while.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't do
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah.
Like it would be cool. It would be dope. I would love to see him get himself into that match and him win. And then it's just like, wow, the main event turned out to be Lee, Lesnar, McIntyre, Miz, and the Miz won. Like it's just. It makes no sense.
Or before the match, he just says, "Oh, I want to be in this match. Let me cash it in now, and this is my championship match." And no one's gonna expect him to win it because you have 3 bigger guys, and then it's like, "Oh, he wins, he like a roll up or something." I don't know.
Yeah,
And, like,
it's
something like
just there's so much I would do with the Miz because I think the Miz is he's our generation's greatest heel.
Yep.
I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
Like
I agree with that.
everybody
Definitely.
wants to talk about a lot of people being the heel of the generation. I think Miz is the heel. He's had his face
Textbook
turned
definition of heel. It's literally the textbook definition of heel. It's like you can't put any. Yeah, MJF. It is yes, but like the Miz is doing it longer than
the
MJF.
Miz is just.
I think the
Miz is
best
different.
heels are the heels that when they turn face, like how the Miz turned face, we were like, this is garbage. He's better as a heel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys like the Miz, like I can see MJF being one of those guys this decade. But, yeah, I would say the Miz for sure. Like, I would say another one could be, which might be not as, positive a pick, but maybe even Baron Corbin. He has that type of heat.
Yeah.
Yo, I love Baron Corbin.
I love Baron
man.
Corbin.
He is he's nice in the ring. Like he just makes like
he's
what a
great,
guy.
great in the ring, great heel.
Yeah.
He's not natural at it, but he's still great. He plays great heel. I love it.
I think you should put a belt on him, any belt, and you would just keep
IC
the guy.
title.
Yeah.
Imagine him and Miz as a tag team. Like you just creating tag team. Just put them together.
Yeah, put them together. Yeah.
Like why not? And just
Okay.
have them just like run over everyone and just gloat about how great they are. Like it just makes sense.
Exactly.
But yeah, Corbin's great too. But I would say the Miz is like he is
definitely.
He's our Piper. He's our Piper. And everybody
that's a good comparison.
Yeah, you could like anybody that's champion, you could get them over by putting them against the Miz.
So you guys got
You know what I mean?
McIntyre? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to change
No,
it.
what happened?
I was gonna say like I was gonna mention it because you're speaking out heels. I wanted to bring up Roman Reigns in that match because I feel like right now he's also doing a great thing.
Yeah.
So I was asking like, if you guys had McIntyre winning or AJ Styles? I think one of you.
McIntyre.
I say McIntyre.
Yeah.
I would love for AJ to win, but I got McIntyre.
Yeah, cause I was gonna bring up like Roman, like I said, Roman Reigns being a great heel and being up there for that right now. Because like you can't forget Roman Reigns right now being a great heel. If you're talking about Corbin and Miz, but he's also doing a great job as a heel. That's what I love about him.
What I feel with Roman is they had no other choice with him.
Yeah,
like
but he's still good at it. He's not bad.
No, he's still good at it. He's still good at it.
He's good at it, but here's the thing: a heel isn't really supposed to be getting cheered. A traditional heel.
Yeah.
That's why you get the Miz, Corbin. They're guys that like people hate. But then
they make you hate.
Once those fans come back, Roman's gonna get cheered.
Yeah.
So
as of
I
right
don't know if I
now,
would put
until
Roman in that reign of like heels, but
he could
like,
do it.
yeah,
but
for
it's
sure
like,
he could do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
You could get people to hate Roman. Just have him start wearing the vest again. Have him.
No.
Put him back. Put him
Put
back with Rollins. Very easy.
Stop punching the fucking floor. Just go out there and wrestle.
He might have been the biggest heel without being a heel.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
You put him as the most hated wrestler for a while.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to sound mean, but then he got sick and everything, and then it was like, well, I can't boo this guy.
Yeah.
It was like, like
and
when
he
I was
out for a couple months. And
when I was at Mania 35, it was like, well, we can't really boo this guy.
Yeah,
like,
he just came back. Like he just gave.
He was just sick. Like that would be mean to do.
Yeah. You can't boo him.
Like it's just
messed up.
Fucked up. Yeah.
It's messed up. It's messed up.
And I think that kind of helped him on getting a better reaction. And even though he had to go through all that to actually get a better reaction, I feel bad about saying that. But then he found his coin with this bad guy character.
Yeah.
And maybe this will help him out if he ever does turn face again.
Yeah.
They'll remember how good of a heel he was and actually be like, wow, this guy's actually good, and maybe it could develop his face character a little more than just being somebody that comes in, hits a spear, and leaves.
Yeah. So for that match, I'm assuming we all have Roman Reigns winning that against Owens in the TLC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
there's no comment. We know that he was in that match.
You know what? I'm gonna be the one out here. I'm gonna say Owens.
Oh no.
Ooh.
I'm gonna
not
say
again.
Owens.
Not again.
Last time you said Uso.
I'm gonna say
got Owens. Oh, he's taking on for the team.
I get the Roman heel character. Love it.
Do you think Owens? You think Jay will like cost him the match or something? I think that's because Jay Uso is kind of like being like the one who messes up everything now. It's like, okay, do you think he's gonna cost him the match this time or something?
I think it might have to be that to happen.
Yeah.
For Owens to win, so that they don't hurt Roman Reigns. Even though I feel like Roman could take a loss.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna hurt him right now.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like
he'll get it back though. I'm pretty sure Kevin Owens is gonna hold it for like a week, and then
I would love for Owens to win it, and you build out this story.
Yeah.
Build it out, and maybe I'm being optimistic here, but Reigns and Owens at Mania, and you build it all the way till there, because if you're not gonna have Reigns and Rock,
might as well have Owens.
Yeah, you need somebody
big name there,
and then you get that finally. Like, I've been trying to win this for months. Now I'm finally getting it back, and you don't have them fight till Mania.
Yeah.
Like, let's say Uso costs him the belt. You have him fight Uso. You have Owens fight Uso maybe at Rumble. You have him fight somebody else before Mania. Roman wins the Rumble. Like, it's just, you could do something like that. I just feel like Roman doesn't need the belt right now.
Yeah.
I feel like his character is so big that it just adds to his character. It's not really like, oh, this makes.
So it's not helping him at all at this point. I don't feel it's helping him. Like,
yeah, and it's like it would be cool to have this shock happen, because right now it looks like nobody can beat him. Even though this man has been taking pinfalls for his whole career, all of a sudden,
I was gonna say, like,
he comes back. You can't beat the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna mention like how they used to treat Braun Strowman, like, oh, they never gave him a championship because Vince felt like no one was able to beat him. Like, realistically, no one was able to beat him. So I hope, like, if they're gonna do that, just might as well have him lose it to somebody like Owens, because right now he's already beat Jay. He's already, pretty much his whole storyline.
Who else is left on the roster?
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like, who else is gonna beat him? Like, no one.
Yeah.
And I have him champion for like 2 years until someone gets
I think this is a perfect time.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to have him get pinned.
Yeah.
You got someone TLC match, right? This one too?
Yes, that is true.
So you don't have him get pinned. Yeah. You have something happen that, I don't know, I'm not that creative. Have something happen that
Jay ruins the match.
He calls him the match, or he just gets distracted off of something. Or maybe he has a little feud happening till Mania. Maybe Jimmy comes back and is like, yo, I don't like the way you treating my brother. And right when he gets to the top, maybe he comes, pushes him off, and then that brings in Jimmy versus Roman, and then that brings in, you knew I was going here, the Usos at Mania, baby. You knew I was going here. But it just builds up to that, and then you got the Usos at Mania. Jimmy loses, he has to join it. He has to follow the rules, just like Jay.
And now they're a faction.
Exactly. And then after a couple weeks, Jimmy's like, you know what? This isn't too bad. And then you get the Usos back together. You have them win the belt. You have them dominate the summer. That whole faction as champions.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
I pick Owens. Plus, I fucking love Owens. I want to see the belt on him again, man.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's cool. I didn't think about it that way, but now.
Yeah, you know I was going.
Yeah, I knew you were going. Yeah,
the Usos at Mania, it just makes sense, and you could even, like, that's probably a dream of theirs. Having, like, for some reason, that's always a thing for brothers. Like, we're gonna fight at Mania. That's the thing. It's always, you had the Owen and Brett, you had Matt and Jeff at 25. Like, it just makes sense to have the brothers go at it, and then you could even, it's even better with the stipulation.
Loser,
Yeah.
You can, and then you can even tie it back to TLC and have a ladder match. The contract for your, like, you know what I mean? Like, just have a contract up there for the family, the tribe, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Yeah, the bloodline. And then that's it. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
And also, I love Owens, so get the belt off of Roman, give it to Owens.
Exactly.
It just makes sense, man.
Yeah. So
and
that
then, that's the whole card, though, right?
Yeah, that's the whole card. I was gonna say that.
Who you got?
I got Roman. I got Roman.
Everybody has Roman except for me. It's Owens, baby.
Always you, man.
Owens, baby.
But
then, and then they also teased the rest of the matches that are gonna be made tomorrow.
Riddle Lashley, probably like Biggie versus Sami Zayn, and then like you said, the tag team champion Ziggler and Rude.
I'm hoping. Yeah. And I need Ziggler and Rude to take them straps off because the Street Profits do not need them.
Exactly.
They are already a made tag team, and I think they've held them for too long. And I think this is time for a heel tag team. Yeah, let's get a heel tag team in here. Unless, even though they're a made-up tag team, I like them
together.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. There's some teams out there that they put together that's like, this actually makes sense. They're one of them.
Yeah.
Nia Jax and Shayna, not one of them.
No fucking fucking. So yeah, I guess that wraps up the episode for today. Thank you, Anthony, for coming on again.
Of course,
thank you, Anthony.
Shout out to you, man. I know you got your podcast running up. Where can people find you and listen to your podcast?
You can find me on YouTube at the Titantron Podcast. We are around 60 followers, 60 subscribers right now, and we're only going up. So thank you.
Exactly.
Find me on Instagram at the Titantron Podcast. We just made a Twitter at _Titantron. Tried to just get it one word, but it didn't fit. And someone took it already, so you know how it would be. And yeah, we're always on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, you name it, we're there. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Definitely. Go check his podcast out at the Titantron Podcast. Thank you again for coming on. This has been episode 15, TLC prediction episode of the Ring Fanatics Podcast. And we'll see you guys next time.
Catch ya.